I always envied being bi. It's like the best of both worlds. I really think, I mean, it's like Kinsey scale stuff, right? I feel like everyone's a little bit gay or straight. Because I really do feel like people are mostly attracted to femininity or masculinity or some other like archetype of performative or, you know, presentative tendencies rather than they are the gender itself. You know what I mean? Like, this stuff is really, really complicated, you know? There are people, I know this for a fact, there are plenty of people guys who consider themselves straight, who are straight, and they have a GF, but then, whoop, the GF's actually a trans guy, and they stay together. Did that guy, did the boyfriend, the cis boyfriend, did their sexuality suddenly change? Or is sexuality now, like, just extremely complicated, you know? You could argue that it has. There's totally valid arguments. You could argue that it's been changed in some ways. Would you say that person is, like, gay then if they only ever slept with that person who was initially their girlfriend but never slept with anyone else? Could you say that person is gay and they've never had a straight relationship? The answer to these questions are, don't think about it too much. None of this was meant to make sense when we decided on these half-ass social constructs, okay? There is one thing that I know for sure, though, and it's that, yeah, labels are bullshit. And it's also that, if you crank up the femininity dial on a guy far enough, I think 99% of guys would fuck them. If you took away, by the way, the, like, homophobia and the gay shame, I'd be willing to bet that, like, almost every straight guy would fuck a sufficiently feminine, guy, you know? Almost I mean, like, overwhelming majority. And a lot, and that's, when I say, by the way, get rid of the homophobia and the what have you, I mean, we're born with a lot of cultural baggage concerning that sort of stuff, but we already kind of know this is the case because in ancient Greece, this is what happened, you know? Now, not to say pederasty is an enviable social construct, because it's certainly fucking not, but people tended to act that way, you know? So it just seems like we do ourselves a pretty tremendous disservice by boxing in sexuality the way that we do. We need to talk about bottom phobia. No, we don't. It's okay to be phobic of bottoms. So can we move from the anal sex discourse to the George Floyd discourse? Do you think we can? Men always talk about wanting to fuck Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, it's not just that. I honestly just think that, like, I think that if you took an average, I mean, like, flip a coin on a guy in America, and you said, hey, listen, next 12 hours, nobody knows, okay? And you put them in a room with your average K-pop star, you know, like one of the, like, the 18 plus, like, boy heartthrobs or whatever. I'd feel like they'd fuck, like, without any social stigma attached to it, because those K-pop stars tend to be pretty androgynous, don't they? That's a stretch. You know, whatever. More and more people are identifying as some kind of queer, and I think that's great. It means more options for everyone, really. Some people are going to remain heterosexual, and that is totally okay. When did you realize you were bi? It's so stupid. I'll tell you, but you all have to promise not to make fun of me for it, okay? Right. There was a... So I thought I was straight for a while. But then I remember there were pictures posted on the Not Safe for Work section of the bodybuilding.com forum, which I frequented all the time back when I was 15. That's when I learned this about myself. And can you hear her? Just ran in here, screamed, and now she's licking herself up on top of the cat tree. Anyway, talk about the Fuda to bisexual pipeline. Did I already tell this story? Did you know? Well, somebody was posting pictures of, like, women with tremendous penises or whatever. And the thing is, and I didn't recognize this at the time because I was 15, these were poorly photoshopped. They were very large penises, and the women, the original models of the women, they were cisgender. It was just somebody photoshopping the penises on. But it looked, I mean, it was like Fuda, IRL Fuda, whatever. And I didn't, like, lose my mind jerking off to this or whatever. But I remember thinking, like, oh, actually, the dicks there look pretty cool. But then, like, somebody in the comments pointed out this is super fake, and then when I actually looked at it critically, I was like, oh my god, this is super, super fake. You know? But the dicks look nice, you know, like if we're inspecting the elements in isolation, the dick looks pretty good. So then later I thought, well, if I like, dick, whatever. I'm not a homophobe. Sure, let's give it a look. I looked at some gay porn and you run down that train. But it was something like that, What about liking dick but not men? That's fine. Yeah, that's the classic right there. Yes, of course. So when did you realize you were okay with calling yourself bi? Pretty much right away. I didn't experience any homophobia in my school, so. For me, the switch to referring to myself as bi was all as life-changing and difficult as informing people that I was a fan of a video game. That's nice. Yeah, that's what we're fighting for, right? Sounds like a cool school, Vaush. Yeah. Beverly High. Well, actually, that would have been a middle school prior.